Namaste, beautiful YouTube family, a bow to the love and the light that is absolutely in you. So today I wanted to do a video that addresses what I mean when I suggest that everybody learn to hold on to themselves. I'm a life coach who likes to put her money where her mouth is, and what that means is that I like to offer you practical solutions on how to get past your childhood programming, how to get past this idea of I am not enough, how to break the patterns that are in our subconscious mind so that we can move forward and start living a life that is worth living and start living a life that is truly our own. It is as awesome as it is terrifying to think that human beings are creating their reality as they go. And I think that we get caught up in this idea that that could possibly not be true because we're expecting like instant manifestation. But what a lot of us have to understand is that this is a time-space reality. So the concept of time must be appreciated. So it takes time for a thought form, which is no different than any other type of energy form, to become a thing, to manifest in the real world, in the physical world. First it has to be whatever we experience in the outer world, first has to be constructed in the inner world, in the mind. And it blew my mind when I realized that everything that was in my mind, all the templates that were in my mind, I didn't put them there, meaning that I was a product of my environment. And because of the things that I experienced in my outer world, they created the templates in my mind, which then became the blueprint for my adult life. And that was as wonderful news as it was really crappy news, because it meant that I was asleep. It meant that I was ignorant. It meant that I was unconscious, and even though my body was animated and I felt awake, I really wasn't. I was living below the veil of consciousness, as I like to say, reacting to this template, which meant that I was reacting to emotions, and I was merging with my emotions, and I did not really have any control to detach from my thoughts. I didn't understand that I was not my thoughts, and that I as a human being had the ability to think about the way that I was thinking. And so my work, the 15 to 20 years of work that I've laid out in my coaching programs, in my books, in my coaching sessions one-to-one, in the brunches that I give, the workshops that I give, and the group coaching classes that I give on a bridge line, this is what I'm trying to teach. But to hear it is not the same thing as to apply it. To hear it is not the same thing as to know it on a cellular level and then be able to live it. This takes practice. And that's why I put out so much information in so many different ways, because I'm hoping, and it's so many of you have written me and said, I've been following you for years and I'm finally waking up, or I've been binging on your videos and I get it. It's not me, it's my programming. I'm so excited about that. I might not be able to reach everybody with that information, but if I reach one person or two people or three people or whatever, it's better than not reaching anybody. At least it makes me feel like I've done service on this planet while I'm here. And so today I want to talk about, and I had to preface the video with that introduction to help you understand what I mean by holding on to yourself. Holding on to yourself means that you've learned how not to be codependent, or you're understanding that being codependent means that I am enmeshed with another human being. It means that I have an inability to hold on to my own experience in relationship to someone else. It means that, and I'll lay it out for you, it means that if I'm at home and I'm washing the dishes and I'm in a really good mood, and my husband walks through the door and he's in a really ornery mood, then when I ask him, hey, how you doing? I'm really putting my finger on his emotional pulse. And I need to figure out where he is so that I can figure out what to say and what to do next. That means that my reality is being being affected by what I believe is the reality or the energy set point of my husband or the people that I care about. This happens with our children, this happens with our bosses, this happens with coworkers, you name it. We could be in a happy-go-lucky mood and go to the grocery store and have some ornery person at the checkout counter say something nasty, and then there goes our mood. So what I'm talking about when I say hold on to yourself, I mean hold on to your emotional set point. I mean hold on to your how you feel in that moment, and stop allowing other people to affect you and bring you down the rabbit hole, which is not easy to do. It's really, you can understand it cognitively. You can even kind of know it in an abstract kind of way, what the hell I'm talking about when I say hold on to yourself. But it's an entirely different thing to apply it to your everyday life and then to see what happens when you actually put this information into practice. Entirely different thing. Healing is a process. Watching one YouTube video or even 100 YouTube videos, although if you did it repetitively, over and over and over, that might help you reduce the programs in your mind and help you create new ones. It is the application of the knowledge that is absolutely essential. Taking what you learn on a YouTube channel from me or any one of the other amazing people out there that are teaching this type of information and applying what they're asking you to do. That's when you will shift. This is an action-based universe. We need to back up a desire with some type of an action. And that's when we create momentum, right? It's all about momentum, creating momentum. And the problem with most people is they give up on their dreams before they actually saw it manifest. So they lose the momentum of it. So I have a couple of dreams that I'm working on right now, and I've held on to them. One of the dreams that I had in my mind was I kept visualizing my husband and my son walking down a pier with a couple of fishing poles in their hands. And this summer we booked a house down in the Carolinas that has a pier. So I know that this summer, that manifestation, in a short amount of time, I will be watching my husband and my son walking down that pier. And it will be a manifestation that I've held on to for quite a while now, that I've written about in my manifestation journal and alike. So holding onto yourself also implies holding on to your dreams, holding on to your reality, holding on to what you desire to create. So getting back to holding on to your reality when you're in a difficult situation with another human being. I want you to imagine that every relationship that you have has a number. So let's say you're in a difficult situation right now with a narcissist, or you're in a difficult marriage with someone who's also codependent but has no desire to change, or maybe you're married to someone who's passive aggressive sometimes and pretty okay most of the time. And let's just assume that the relationship is, for the most part, rocky, dissatisfying, and you want more. So we're going to assign, for the sake of this video and make it simple for you guys, and me to explain it, because I'm explaining an abstract idea and I'm trying to create concrete ideas so that you can take this abstract idea and apply it to something concrete. That's when it'll sink into your brain. And that's why a picture is worth 1,000 words. That's why the brain likes metaphors. But I digress. Dear ones. So I want you to imagine that your relationship with your spouse is a number 10. And 10 represents something negative. It represents the highest level of frustration that you want to experience ever in a relationship. So your relationship is a 10. So we're going to assume, or we're going to, for the case of this video, help you understand that 5 plus 5 equals 10. So you're in this equation, your spouse is in this equation. So that together you create a 10. So now what you want to do is you want to understand that you don't want to be at a 10, but you only have, let's say, control over 5% of the energy, or 5 points of energy to this relationship, which makes up the whole of the 10. So let's say you're all by yourself, you're at the kitchen sink and you're washing the dishes and you're in a pretty good mood, and your ornery husband Bill walks in the door and he starts complaining about the weather, or he starts complaining about the traffic, and he starts complaining about the house is cold, and he starts complaining that his underwear are too small and you shrunk them. You're doing it on purpose too, by the way. Did you know that, dear one? How many of you have heard that? You're shrinking my clothes on purpose. So many of you have used that example with me over the years. So let's say your ornery husband Bill walks in the house and he's complaining about this thing and that thing, and this is cold and that's too hot, And you are learning to hold on to yourself. So in that moment, dear one, what you're going to have to do is understand that you are only responsible for five points in that relationship. However, if you add the 5 points of energy that you are to his 5 points of energy that he is, you are both going to be locked into this equation, which will equal the sum of a 10-point relationship. And you don't want that. You want to bring this down. You want to bring this energy of this relationship down. So you know now that 5 plus 5 equals 10. So when he walks in the door, you're going to have to leave his energy here. You're not going to engage with him. Once you engage with him, he turns around, 5 plus 5 equals 10, and you two are engaged, and you in that moment skyrocket to the level 10, which is a high level of frustration. So what you want to do is hold on to your energy. This is you. Imagine this is you by the kitchen sink. La 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 la. Oh, happy place. I'm so happy. The kids are clean and homework is done and the dinner's ready. And all that has to happen now is that Bill has to walk the door, say hello to kids. Blah, blah, blah. So you're in a happy place. Bill walks in the door. Don't engage. Don't engage. Let him go off. Let him talk out loud. And what you have to do is run through a couple of things in your head. Number one, don't engage. Understand that when you add to the dynamic, you're actually adding your energy to his energy and you're quantifying it. And what you're trying to do is learn how to take control over your own vibration and learn how to end up basically cutting these emotional equations that you have that are dysfunctional and pulling you down the rabbit hole and making you feel like you're powerless. So you want to understand that you want to disengage. You don't want to seek his approval. You don't want to take care of his feelings. You want to say to yourself, I can accept where my husband is right now. He is entitled to feel ornery. From his perception, anyone would feel ornery. I accept that he feels ornery. It's all about being in your head at that kitchen sink, noticing that Bill is ornery, turning back to yourself, saying to yourself in your mind, hold on to yourself, hold on to yourself, hold on to yourself. He has a right to be ornery. He has a right to be angry. He has a right to express himself the way he wants. I can accept that he's upset. I can accept that he thinks that I shrunk his underwear on purpose. I didn't. I know I didn't shrink his underwear on purpose, but that's okay. I can accept that he thinks that. All is well with me. I am enough. Now, when you do that, you're keeping control over your energy. You're disengaging from Bill. Now, Bill is used to walking in the door as a 5 and engaging with you, and he's used to you engaging with him and meshing with him, poop, and being a 10. That's where he's comfortable. And in most cases, what happens is when you're dealing with a dysfunctional dynamic, when one person is up, the other person that is a part of that relationship doesn't like that the other person is up and does what they can to pull them down so that we can have this equal playing field, which unfortunately becomes wherever you guys land on a consistent basis becomes the equation for your relationship. I like to say, imagine that every dissatisfying relationship that you have is a 10. So that gives you an idea of, it just makes it easier for your brain to understand 10, 5 plus 5 equals 10. So let's say, well, what I want you to understand is that if your relationship is, when you engage with one another, normally goes to a 10, a level of frustration where you're both arguing, nothing gets resolved, nobody gets from point A to point B, then you have to understand that's your base set point. That number 10, that level of frustration is your level, that's where you're comfortable, unfortunately. And so you guys know, and it's a pattern that's been a theme in your life. So because you're the smart one watching this video, and you're on YouTube, and you're wherever else, probably reading about relationship dynamics, you now have insight that your partner might not have. But you have to understand, you're only 50% of this relationship. But if you can control 50% of the relationship, there's no way that you can continually become a 10 anymore. So if you hold on to your energy, you withdraw, you just hold on to it, and you don't add it to Bill's energy, then that emotional set point has to change. It can no longer be a 10. So there are a couple of things that can happen. In most cases, Bill is going to sense this lack of energy because he's used to being a 10, right? And all of a sudden, his wife isn't engaging or his partner isn't engaging, and he can't get to that level 10 that makes him comfortable. He knows what to do when he's in level 10 mode. He doesn't know what to do when he's in level 5 mode and his partner isn't engaging. He doesn't know what to do. So Bill's going to freak out for a while. So expect him to try to engage you more. Expect insults, expect temper tantrums, expect him to play the victim. Some of our partners will claim that they're going to hurt themselves if we don't take care of their feelings. So there's going to be a rocky boat for a while, but I promise you, dear ones, if you consistently hold on to yourself and you stop engaging in dysfunctional dynamics, this relationship will have to shift. Now, I'm not a mind reader. I just know based on my experience, both personally and professionally, the chances are that a few things will happen. The relationship will either have to come to a new set point, and it'll be more satisfying, and you can actually open up dialogue with your partner, and that your partner will eventually be comfortable with the level 5 relationship, 3 plus 2, let's say, or 2 plus 2 equals 4. And if you want to continue to grow, and as you continue to grow as a couple, as things pop up, if there's something that you need to pull your energy from, so let's say you're at a 4, so 2 plus 2 equals 4, let's say. So now you want to shift something in your relationship, you know, okay, I'm just going to pull my energy from that and not engage with that. Whether it's checking his emails, whether it's, you know, tolerating him saying nasty things to you. You just pull your energy from it. Do not engage. Do not engage. That will have to shift. So that's what will happen if that's something awesome that could happen. But there's always the chance that when you start to really change the dynamics in your relationship, that your partner is very resistant. If someone is very high anxiety, they're used to anxiety. And so as you begin to calm, that's going to make them uncomfortable, and they might act out. And in that case, we really don't know where the relationship's going to go, but I do suggest that everyone be open. Go moment to moment. You know, the whole premise of my coaching and what I wish to teach people, both in my coaching programs and individually and in my books, is that ultimately what's happened to us is that we have not been allowed to honor our experiences and honor our feelings because no one validated our experiences when we were children. And without that consistent validation and that healthy mirroring, we don't trust ourselves. We have tremendous self-doubt. So we might have a feeling like we should end this relationship, but we won't trust it. We will actually make our partners responsible for ending the relationship. We'll wait for our partners to screw up, and then we'll feel like, okay, great, now I can leave the relationship. But when we do that, we're escaping responsibility for how we feel. And we're never really learning how to navigate our lives with the true compass and the only compass we need, which is our heart space. Your heart is a lot smarter than you think it is. It's a lot smarter than your brain is. And your heart actually gives out more energy than even your brain does, which is pretty amazing. So the whole goal is to learn how to honor how we feel on a heart level, on an authentic level, learning to trust that guidance and that wisdom, and learning to do what we can to set boundaries for ourselves and others so that we can break these dysfunctional patterns and eventually have an amazing life that is being navigated by our own personal compass, without needing to be validated by other people, without needing to ask for permission to do what we feel like we need to do, or for permission to feel what we feel. So dear ones, I hope this has made some sense to you. It might have been a little confusing about the equations, but if you watch this video once or twice or 3 times, I think it'll be a lot easier for you to understand where I'm coming from. If you have any questions, leave them below. My coaching program is in full swing. The next class opens up June 1st in 2017. If you'd like more information, go to www.lisaaromano.com and join my newsletter, dear ones. And also I'm going to be in Long Island February 25th for a live brunch and workshop if anyone's interested. Again, you can find out more on my website at just reach out to me at www.lisaaromano.com. I'll be glad to answer your questions. Namaste, everybody. Bye.